Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, this one is just going to be a ramble, I guess. But here's the deal: we have the midterm elections coming up in a few weeks here, first week of November, of course, and things seem to be leaning Republican. And I'm here to discuss why that is a terrible, terrible situation. First off, you have the Roe v. Wade stuff. Obviously, if Republicans come to power, they're going to start pushing immediately for that national abortion ban. With that national abortion ban they are seeking, they're not going to limit. They're not going to put a limit to it. They're not going to say, oh, 15 weeks, oh, 6 weeks. They're going to say nada. Right? That's what their goal is absolute zero on abortions, whether you're having a miscarriage and you need abortion services, whether whether some other medical reason comes up, even an ectopic pregnancy. They don't care. They don't care if you die. But remember, the same people that would tell a child that she must carry her rapist baby to term are also the same people who will call her a welfare queen when she applies for benefits. And the fact that there's anybody willing to vote for Republicans at this point, regardless of what the economy looks like, because that's what we'll get to in a minute. But a lot of people are saying the economy is why they're going to vote Republican. But how can you say you support women's rights or support women when you're going to allow a party to take over who is set to literally make them baby factories that are literally willing to take their entirety of their bodily autonomy away from them? And then, of course, what have they been doing to trans children and LGBTQ youth across the nation? Don't say gay bills are popping up everywhere. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene are pushing for a nationwide version of that law that they passed in Florida. Meanwhile, as I learned this morning, the CDC has put out a report showing that roughly 1 in 4 LGBTQ youth attempted suicide in 2021. 1 in 4. If that is not absolutely, unequivocally, the most disgusting thing I have ever heard in my life, it's that. You don't think all these laws and all these people out here talking bad about gay people, wanting to make them non existent, isn't having a negative effect on LGBT youth? You're sadly mistaken. As I said when this stuff first started hitting the fan, this is exactly what was going to happen. That these laws and these bills and all these people pushing the anti gay agenda are leading to more suicides. That's exactly what I said would happen. To those MAGA Republicans that support this kind of ideology, their blood is on your hands. Also, if you call yourself an ally of the LGBTQ community, yet you are going to vote for Republicans in November, you are not an ally to our cause. Telling people you supposedly love them and then voting against them says a lot about you, doesn't it? And it's absolutely repulsive that a parent, of all people, would do this to their kid. And I've known too many people whose families have disowned them because of who they were. Just because of who they loved, who they were attracted to. Let's put it this way. If you love somebody who is LGBTQ and you don't want to, and you say you support them, then you need to support the politicians that will support them in the future, that will make it okay for them to exist. The GOP is not going to do that for you. The GOP will never, I repeat, the GOP will never choose to help the LGBTQ community. They have nothing but hate and vitriol for us. They would assume us all die. So don't get it twisted. When you see a Republican saying that they support the LGBTQ community, they're lying. They are trying to get your vote. They are trying to trick you. But they're all doing this because of the economy. Because the economy to people is doing terrible. Even though we're adding hundreds of thousands of jobs every single month. What was it, September? 700? Was it 600,000? 700,000 jobs? Yes, inflation is high. But guess what, people? Inflation is high around the freaking globe. People are dealing with inflation in every country in the world. Many of the developed countries have a higher rate of inflation than we do. We've actually taken ours down from roughly 10.5% to 8.2%. For the last 3 months, inflation has been falling, while it's going up in other places in the world. Also, remember on the economy, remember how we got here. We didn't get here because of some policy Joe Biden passed. In fact, he's passed one bill to try and help the inflation situation and the economy situation. And the Republicans, every single one of them voted no. But look what happened to inflation. It started to fall. But here's another thing not to get twisted. The problem with inflation is not politics. It's not political. It's greed. There is no excuse for the prices of things to be what they are now. Take one of my favorites, Coca-Cola. $12.88 for a 12 pack or a 24 pack at Walmart. $6.98 for a 12 pack at Walmart. Those are just insane prices. That's just one product, right? It just happens to be a product that I love that I'm not able to get much anymore because I can't afford it because of their greed. Yesterday, I went and got my COVID shot and found out that if I want a flu shot, I'm going to have to pony up $50 because I don't have insurance. I've never paid more than $25 for a flu shot. In my 43 years of life, I have never paid more than $25 for a flu shot. Ever. Because most of the time when I was on Medicaid in Texas, Medicaid wouldn't cover my flu shot because I wasn't diabetic. Or dealing with cancer. So that's another thing that's attacking the poor. This is not about politics. This is not about what Joe Biden passed, what Joe Biden didn't pass. They are price gouging, especially the oil companies, especially the pharmaceutical companies. That's why you have Republicans fighting so hard to upend the cap that the Inflation Reduction Act put into place on prescription drugs and the cost of insulin. The Republicans are not a party to trust. They are not a party that will help you. They are not a party that gives two shits about you. And yes, I do have my reservations about some people in the Democratic Party. I have my issues with some people. And I think some people in the Democratic Party need to go. But you know what else? I trust them more because they believe in science, science based, and evidence based policies. They don't want to take women's rights away. They don't want to make trans people non-existent. So how about those of you that are leaning right now and you're kind of undecided? How about we rein that in a little bit? How about we look at a few things here? Yes, the economy is not perfect, but it's working. People have jobs, people can get jobs. There are plenty of job openings for people to get. One thing though that will increase inflation though is everybody went back to work at the same time, right? So everybody's getting paychecks at the same time, right? And so everybody wants the things they couldn't have during the COVID lockdowns. So that does help drive up prices a little bit. But as the New York Times posted a few months ago, not only is inflation up around the world, corporate profits are a 70-year high. Corporate profits are going up and up and up and up. Meanwhile, your wage at work is staying the same. These corporations have falsely inflated prices on things that don't need to be inflated, like the aforementioned Coca-Cola. Their 12 pack, $6.98. Some people said, "Oh, maybe it's the aluminum shortage." Hold up, though. Hold up, though. A 12 pack for Pepsi is $5.48. Same can, same aluminum can. Literally no difference except the tab, and it's more than $1 cheaper. Where should the prices be for Coca-Cola? Right about $5.48. Especially considering their broad global reach. So please, if you're considering voting for the Republican Party this fall, please don't. Anyways, I'll see you down the road.